Hey, if you missed my Monday Soul Deliciousness last night, you want to go back and replay. That was pretty good. So I talked a lot about judgment and how we judge ourselves and we judge others in this like really super ugly, nasty cycle that we get in when we do this and all of the issues that it causes. So it was pretty good. All right. If you did not see it, I also got this super cool box last night. So when I got home from work, I had found this cool site on Etsy. I was looking specifically for some blue kyanite blades, which these are really cool. And you can order them by the ounces. So I didn't really realize what I was getting, right? So in some instances, when you ordered them by the ounce, you got like a whole bag of stuff. And I'm not sure why, but I accidentally ended up with 2 of these. And in other instances, you get like a giant chunk of something. So, hello, how are you today? So I just ordered some things that were totally radiating with my little mental brain, and I got some beautiful stones for chakra clearing. I got a rainbow moonstone that is my grandmother's birthstone. So since she passed away, had to add that to my little collection. I have amethyst, and then I got some bigger pieces because I love unicorns and sparkles. So check this out. I know it's so hard to see because my lighting is not so great. I'm really not happy with my webcam that I spent a ton of money on. Okay, so check this one out, though. It's really cool. If you want to talk about a rainbow stone, it is awesome. Teason was like, that is so cool. Happy Taco Tuesday, but we're having pasta, I think. All right, so let's talk about something really helpful for you today before I go off on my merry way to work. And I, always love to share with you guys when I have a mental breakdown myself because it happens and I'm super human. And yesterday I let too many things pile up and I was really tired. And I had, I'm taking my class that's so not my thing. I'm taking a dairy class and a cheese class because I am in the food industry and I'm working on my second master's degree, which is in food safety and quality. I had to take these classes because they were the only online classes offered. I'm not interested in it. I work in the bakery field. It's really not my cup of tea. So these classes stress me out to no end. And I didn't realize that I had like 4 assignments due yesterday and quizzes. And I was like, had all intention to do it. Then I got home and I went live and then I was going to do it again. And then I made dinner and then I came into my office and by now it's like 9 o'clock and I turn into a pumpkin at 9 o'clock in the morning, Patty. And so I just was having a hard time. I sat down, I tried so hard to start working on it and I just was so disconnected and I was so tired. And then I just, it was not good. So I caught myself having a mental breakdown. Dave had gone to bed with Jason, and then I think Dave fell asleep, and Jason ended up coming in here, and he was like, Mom, I can't sleep without you. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, you know what? There is nothing worth stressing myself out to this point where I am having a meltdown. So I was like, take a chill. Breathe, right? Breathe. I like to do 3 really good deep breaths. Some people are into 5. I like 3. So I do 3. And then I was like, what can I do to make this situation better? You know what? I'm going to just send my professor an email and I'm going to let him know that I don't have my assignments done and I've had a really stressful, chaotic week without going into the whole whiny victim story, right? So I just simply said, would it be possible for me to have a little extra time turning in my assignments and my quizzes? I've had a really overwhelming week between work and family. And that's all I said. So we'll see, right? But I ended up just cutting it off, going to bed. I needed to sleep. So sometimes you got to do that. Okay, so here's what I really wanted to share with you. Dairy is a plus in the bakery department. Yeah, not when I'm reading about cheese. I don't really need to know anything about cheese. But so here we go. We live in this impression where, at least I know for sure, when I was writing this morning, I was like, yep, that was ringing true for me. Growing up, being in a society where, we're all striving to be our higher selves, these higher level beings, depending on what religion you are, being at that same capacity of reaching this spot of full enlightenment, full control, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, right, trying to be like Jesus, like that's what we were always taught. And so we live in this impression that to be a divine being, you have to be perfect. And we put so much pressure on ourselves trying to reach this whole level of perfectionism. And so here's what the problem is. You can think about it. Think about when you were a kiddo and you were playing in a swimming pool and you had something that was really buoyant, right? And no matter what you did and you're trying to hold it under the water, what does it do? Right? It tries to pop up. Now, if it's incredibly buoyant, even if and it's a little larger than your hand, and you are pushing it down into the water and it's sitting right here, what happens, right? It tries to do everything it can to come back out. And sometimes it just bypasses and comes popping back up. And so, good morning, May. So you're struggling the entire time to keep this submerged and you're expending so much energy, right? If you keep following this thing around the swimming pool and you're constantly trying to push it down, push it down, push it down, what happens? You are exhausted. And this is what happens to us when we try for this divine perfection. So resonate with this a little bit. To be divine is not being perfect. You don't have the capacity to be perfect. You're a human being. You're not engineered spiritually. You're not engineered physically to be in a state of perfection. So instead of fighting that and pushing it down, which is what we do our entire lives, and then we wonder why we're so tired and we're so chronically ill and we're such a mess. Okay? To be divine is to be whole. That is what divine means. It's to be whole. So when you're constantly shoving everything down that you dislike about yourself or everything that you feel guilty about, all of those things, think about when you are a kid. Imagine that you have this imaginary backpack on your back, okay? When you're born, there's nothing in it. Your inner child starts to grow and you're this happy, beautiful little kiddo. And for some of us, this happens immediately when our parents bring us home because we are just not raised in a healthy environment. And for others of us, it just starts happening slowly over time. But people, your parents, your siblings, your kids that you go to school with start adding things to this backpack. Things that are judgmental, things that are people telling you what are not your perfect parts of you, that that you're angry, that you overreact, that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you didn't do well enough on the test, and on and on and on it goes. And we fill this backpack up. And so then when we're adults, we're carrying around this huge load. And now we see all this stuff and we're like, oh, we want to get rid of it. So you're jumping into self-enlightening and you're trying, to find all these healing methodologies and all these self-help books and coaches and therapy and right. And you're trying to unload this backpack. And it's really hard because you're taking them out and instead of getting rid of them, you're trying to shove them down. And they're popping back up and it's not working. And then you're just getting really frustrated. So to be divine means to be whole. You have to accept. So let me tell you what you do with these things is you take them out of your backpack, stop trying to get rid of them. Look at them and say, okay, how can I use this thing that I've been taught that is so bad about myself into something beautiful? Let's use anger. So let's say that you've been told all your life you're really incredibly angry. And you just keep suppressing it, right? And so what we resist, what happens? It persists, right? So you shove it down, and you shove it down. And then the problem is that when you do get angry, it blows out of proportion. And now you're doing things that you regret. You're saying things to people that you don't want to say. You're potentially acting out physically. So stop suppressing the anger. Learn to feel it. When you start having those feelings of anger, when you start recognizing that it's coming on, do what you can to remove yourself from the situation because, right, we want to take away the fuel. Good morning, Amber. You want to take away the fuel. You want to take away what's sparking that. And then you want to go into your state where you're breathing deeply. You're breathing through it. You're recognizing the anger. You're letting it come. You're feeling it. And then you're having a conversation with yourself. Okay, what's making me feel angry? Get curious about it, right? What's making me feel angry? Is there something I can do to make this situation different? Don't say better, because it's nothing wrong with it. Is there something I can do to make this situation different? I'm recognizing this, and how can I make this more a whole part of myself? And sometimes just that simple recognition and allowing yourself to feel it, instead of being like, I'm getting angry and now I'm going to resist it. And now it's snowballing and you're reacting. Just taking yourself away for a minute, and then you'll notice that it won't seem quite as bad, and things will start popping into your head about how the situation could be better, how maybe the situation isn't quite as magnified as you initially thought that it was. It's a beautiful process. So stop trying to keep everything hidden, because divine means positive and negative. It's the good and the bad. Nothing can be divine without the opposite. That's the law of nature. Hello, Aunt Tammy. All right. So there you go. I have the blessed opportunity to go to work. So that is where I am going right now. Don't forget, when you share, you care. You get entered to win these beautiful socks. We will be giving these away on Friday. If I owe you socks, I plan on making it to the post office today because we were exposed to COVID. I held off. So some of you have some socks coming. I will be shipping those. And I think that's all I have. So go out there, have a beautiful day, learn to love yourself, stop suppressing things that you dislike, learn to recognize them, accept them, right? They're just over amplified, and you just need to bring them down a little bit and use them as a positive instead of shoving them under the water. All right. Love you guys. Have a beautiful